Every real estate journey is unique. That's why we created the AOF Real Estate Team, a full-service solution built to support you at every stage. Whether you're building wealth through strategic investments, need hassle-free property management, or want to maximize your sale price as a Scott McGilvery trusted team, we've assembled all key services under one roof. First-time buyer or seasoned investor, our dedicated client success team ensures your experience is seamless from start to finish. At AOF, we make real estate simple, profitable, and stress-free. The AOF Real Estate Team, your journey, our expertise.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the AOF Real Estate Team Monthly Update. My name is Kellen Kunick. I got Drew, Alona, Kev rocking the McDavid threads. What's the big
Let's
news
go,
there,
baby.
Kev? Did something happen recently with Connor McDavid?
Well, the biggest news on the Canadian news cycle is Connor decided to choose Edmonton and its market and team and everything about us for another 2 years. So it's 3 more years of Connor, including this year. So I am so pumped and excited. I was moping around for a little bit, worried he was leaving, and no, he would never leave me. So 97, baby. 97.
The chase for Lord Stanley continues here. Looks good. Okay, well, yeah, let's might as well dive right into it. What's going on in the market? I know we're coming out of the end of Q3 and start of Q4. Frost on the ground, that kind of season changing here. So, Alona, what's happening stats related in the Edmonton market?
Yeah, thanks, Kellen. So when we chat about the monthly stats, I think it's important to understand that we're looking backwards at the historical data and what happened in the Edmonton real estate market in September last month. So it's like looking in the rear view mirror when you're driving, trying to get a glimpse of what may be happening in the future. Okay. So when we're looking at sales, and we are looking at months over months, so August to September, and then September 2025 to September 2024, year to year, sales went down a little bit. New listings went up a little bit, months over months and year over year. Now, days on the market, properties stay about 39 days, which is about 2 days more from August. And months of inventory, we have 3.2 months, which means that we are in the balanced market and we're leaning slightly towards buyers. So this means, what does this mean for buyers? For buyers, this means that they have more choices and prices are slightly softening. So they have a bit more negotiating power heading into the fall. An opportunity here for buyers is watching the interest rates. So as we see interest rates being cut again, as speculated. If you're a buyer, you may act now to lock in homes before the renewed demand. And when you have renewed demand, prices may go up. What does this mean for sellers? While we are still in the balanced market, the competition is growing. So if you have to sell this fall, winter, make sure that you're competitive through pricing, presentation, strategy, marketing. Homes are still selling, but buyers have a little bit more leverage. And what we are seeing on the market is that well-maintained and move-in ready homes are still very competitive and are in strong demand, even though we see a slight cooling in the market seasonally. Are you guys seeing something similar on the ground as well?
Yeah, no, I think, the market's been so hot and moving along for so good. It was that time where, when you get in a relationship for your first time and you're happy and you just eat and you don't go to the gym and you're like, holy cow, I'm not fitting my clothes anymore. Well, it's that wake up call when you go on the scale and you're like, whew, this doesn't look so good. I think it's time now with our listings to really focus on looking lean, trim. We're really going through listings now, making sure that they look top notch. It's about high quality. I'm spending more time doing, we didn't have to repaint homes before for a long time. I was like, who cares? It's going to sell. right now it's about, okay, how do we make this house look nice? How do we get your home on a diet and make sure that it's clean? We're really looking at layouts. We've even brought in interior designer to focus on, changing lighting. Like, lighting's one of the easiest ways to make your home look brand new again. So tweaking lighting, anything we can do to make sure that when a buyer comes in, they choose you. You're not in the happy committed relationship anymore where you can do whatever you want. You're single a little bit now, so you have to get back out there and really focus on being as attractive as you can to today's buyer. Today's buyer has a lot of things going on. They have more options than they had before. So it's really about standing out and making sure you work with a realtor that can make sure your home stands out. And it's not just through interior stuff. It could be through the way we market it and all sorts of different things.
Such a good analogy, Kevin. But it makes sense. Like before, in the springtime when things were hot, you could just, put your property on MLS and go into multiples. Maybe think about pricing a little bit, but now you really got to dig down to the details of your property. How am I standing out amongst all of the houses that I'm competing with? Is it just price? And I've had lots of these conversations with other agents. It's not just about price. It's the way you present it. It's how you market it. It's the videos. This is where you need to hire a pro and help you get through this situation. This is not a time to try to do this on your own. This is not a time to hire your second cousin that just got his license or her license because they became a realtor now. The game has changed, and it's time to take a deep dive into why, what your motivation is for selling a property. We're heading into the winter market here now, and you really got to make sure that you're standing out.
And may I add, it's a bit more pleasurable to be a buyer's agent because your clients don't have only 2 hours to make a decision. The property goes on the market and it gets sold in 2 hours. We've seen that. But they have a couple of days to think about it, maybe a week. So it's really good to be a buyer's agent right now.
Yeah, now the market's still really balanced overall. So it's not like it's like this is a buyer's market or whatever. But if you want to sell quickly, it's about getting it as nice as possible, doing the little things. Sometimes a little bit of work to the property can go a long way. First impressions are so important. So we'll go through, we'll hold your hand, we'll walk you through that. We have a various different options to kind of help you sell your home. But like on the buyer side, I get it really excited for you because you have a lot more options. Like Alona said, you can take your time, you can sleep on it, you can look at a few different options and really nail down what you're after and try and find the perfect fit. And with the interest rates coming down, things kind of trending that way, I think it's a really good time to be a buyer. I bought my own home in the wintertime as well because that's usually when the market softens up a little bit here, a little bit less competition. And honestly, it's when you see the home and it's literally its worst, ugliest state compared to summer or spring. So it's a really good time to, if you're an active buyer, to be really nailing down those deals because as we've seen in the past, as interest rates come down, we get into spring and rates are now, a quarter to half a point lower. Well, now all the buyers that were taking that break are all back. And now all of a sudden it's chaos again. And you're like, geez, okay, well, I kind of missed that window. So I really think this is a great window right now.
And historically, what we see is that who is super active in, as market cools down seasonally, it's investors. They're the ones taking advantage of less competition among buyers. And, so be like an investor, even if you're shopping for a primary residence.
Well, I think Drew, you've mentioned it a lot, and Kev, maybe this is your quote, is like trying to time the market, right? Like you can't just time things. There's got to be the other variables in your strategy that can help you make those best decisions, and getting a pro involved like our team to help navigate what is a good offer, what's a good opportunity, strategies there. Like you said, Alona, you don't have 2 hours to strategize. You can get the playbook out. You can do a little bit of review on that, and that's how you can evaluate these different opportunities that are out there. I did want to say too, just one of the things when we're talking statistics specific is that lot of the comparables year over year are coming off of record year in 2024, and so these shifts are expected. They're not just kind of the seasonal cycle here. They were coming off of the record years from even just migration and immigration. Those numbers, there's still plenty of people coming to Alberta. Although those numbers, yes, they have dropped year over year, there's still people coming. And that's where things like influences on the employment rates or unemployment rates, that more jobs are being created, but it's trying to keep up with the mass amounts of new people that are in our province, and specifically in Edmonton. But same goes with real estate, is that, yeah, there's just right now we're comparing everything to last year's record-breaking years, and so strength in the market is still there. You're never going to time it perfectly. At the same time, you have to find your motivations as a seller, like Drew alluded to. Like, what is your true motivation, timeline, whatever the cause may be or case that you have to making that decision to sell, versus a buyer as well, trying to just really focus in finding out variables you're looking for in a new property. If that's an investor, again, we're looking at different areas, turnkey alone, like you alluded to. All those factors are what we're kind of looking at every single day to help take the hand and guide investors and primary buyers and sellers all in one. So
Yeah, and like if you look at like historically the last 2 or 3 years, we've had a ton of people from BC and Ontario moving here. And that number is just going to get higher now that McDavid's re-up for another 2 years. So now that people know that we've been to 2 Stanley Cup finals in a row, we have the best player in the world for another 2 years plus this existing year, there's going to be a record amount of people coming here. And I don't blame them. We have clients that fly in to buy rental properties here, and they think these rental properties we have for available for sale are nicer than their own primary residences back in Toronto. So, my favorite line is affordable luxury. We really emphasize that here in our rental properties, our starter homes. Like, they don't look like starter homes in other markets. They're really nice homes with amazing interior finishes, the big baseboards, 9-foot ceiling height, quartz throughout. Like, they're really awesome. So if you're looking to move to Edmonton, give us a call. But if you're looking to invest in Edmonton, there's no better time than now to capitalize and kind of beat the spring rush there.
Well, and speaking of which, like, this is a unique opportunity that we've got right now, is we've got new construction stuff that is like ready for possession today. And we've got interest rates moving downwards. I know some people on the team have had some clients with success stories where they got in lower than they thought they would when they initially got into the contract with CMHC. It's crazy. Talk about what a time to buy when things are uncertain. Isn't that Warren Buffett who said that?
Mm-hmm.
Buy when or be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy.
Absolutely. That's what happened during COVID. Anyone who bought then killed it. And like you alluded to, we have stuff we can actually show you right now. So if you are in Edmonton, we could show you something right away. But if you wanted to come in for a tour or fly in, we've had clients do that in the past. This is the best time, because usually these places are already rented already and off market. We have only a couple units that are actually available to show, but at least we can show them to you. Whether it's 3-story buildings in really awesome areas just off our Anthony Henday Drive, or Chappelle, which is one of the hottest markets in the city, fastest growing part of Edmonton. So we have a lot of uniqueness to what we can show, and usually we're selling you on an idea, a picture of a piece of dirt, but now I can actually walk you through a home right now, which is really nice.
Yeah, no, and we can dive a little bit more. I know we spoke a lot about the resale stuff, like on the new construction. We'd be remiss not to talk about the MLI Select program and the different multifamily opportunities that we've helped investors connect and acquire on over the past 3.5 years since the inception of the program. And Drew, like, to your point, I over the past couple of months, I've had some investors go through those exact experiences. It's not even from the point of contract, but from where the COIs were, essentially the applications went in and approved COIs, where 2 weeks ago I had an investor client. I'll preface this in saying there's a lot of different feedback. I don't want to say rumors, but feedback on different lenders and brokers and how they're going to prepare applications. And this specific investor had their application prepared and sent in after the changes were made in Q1. So submitted in Q2, and we closed a couple weeks ago. It was 3 contiguous townhouse buildings, all on one COI. The COI rate to where the actual rate lock was 40 basis points below what she had originally, or that group of investors, I should say, what they had originally intended, resulting in, I think it was like $1,600 a month saving on the interest. So,
Wow.
that's
amazing.
Never going to lead with that. Never going to talk about that as being what you should expect. However, those stories are still out there. Those things are happening. We're experiencing it. Had another investor very similar. I think it was an 8-plex. They closed, I can't remember how many basis points below, but they were saving over $600 a month on an 8-door project. So again, right now, the trends, not only just when we're talking about the residential rates, with the cut from the Bank of Canada last month, there is another rate release at the end of this month, but with the CMB, Canadian mortgage bond yields, that has been trending more favorably for investors. So, Drew, talking about those, and Kev just mentioning those quicker possession opportunities. If we're talking about risk assessment, a project hasn't started construction, set to close in 12 months or 10 to 12 months, there might be a little bit more of that risk involved with not knowing a definitive range for where those interest rates are going to fall, but something that's closer to completion, where your application for a project with CMHC would be going in, call it 4 to 6 weeks after you'd be making your commitment on a project. Those variables, the likelihood of them really swaying in one way or the other are less. So, there's no guarantee on exactly what those terms of financing and the rates will look like, but time is on your side there. So it does create a bit of a unique opportunity even for our team to speak towards helping investors that are interested in that model. Because right now, I'd say when we're really doing a comparison to help investors strategize on opportunities, one of the big things is the unknown around the interest rate and how that can sway. So a shorter timeline means that there is a little bit more clarity in what you're getting into. So yeah, those were some, great stories. I was happy to be a part of them. The investors themselves on both sides, they were just, thrilled, because everything just got a little bit sweeter, even not from what our association was from the pro forma. It was significantly lower than that, but even from what the original expectations were on their application and COI from CMHC. So yeah, where the trends are right now, I'd say projects that are kind of in that shorter timeline, there's a good possibility that will be the same result.
I think you glossed over a point there that I want to readdress, is that the interest rate was lower than what the pro forma showed, right? Now, there's a lot of people out there that are showing maximized rents and minimized costs of ownership out there. And you got to be very careful when you're getting into this, that you're dealing with somebody who's taken a conservative approach, or taken at least some kind of a balanced approach to it. And we never want to be. I love telling stories when the numbers are better than our pro forma, but it's a hard conversation to have when the numbers don't match or not even close to the pro forma. So make sure that you're really, if you're working with somebody, that you're really challenging what that looks like.
Well, not only that, and again, I appreciate you kind of emphasizing a little bit more on that, Drew. I would say all aspects to every single project. I'm seeing, feedback in the networks on timeline expectations for projects. Saw something recently. Expected possession was supposed to be end of October, and it looked like the house just was on lockup stage, so it wasn't even sided or anything. So these are different projects. Again, there's other variables and multitude of different project styles, I should say, that influence timelines. But that's one too, Drew. Like when we are going through procurement on a project and we're evaluating, it's not to look at, hey, let's just inflate everything, make the projections, we got a couple years till this is done, or whatever the case may be. But all those variables where an investor is to do their own quote unquote due diligence, that's where I love using the term strategic due diligence as a collaboration. So that's where trusted financial advisors, brokers, lenders that have experience in this space, and the property management, but just other marketing tools or market analysis tools that we can use to really just try and project conservative but balanced numbers. Not, I sure hope you get the best case scenario, because if you don't, well, you didn't do your due diligence well enough then. And those are the parameters that we would prefer to work within. I know multiple conversations with investors that are, kind of locked in on Edmonton from other outside sources, whether that's, real estate teams from outside of the province marketing Edmonton, whether it's just an investor, a real estate agent that maybe helped someone sell an investment project or buy an investment property that now they're an investor specialist. Like, this is what we do every single day. That's where our focus is always going to stay. Our team has certainly grown on the resale side as well. But when it comes to investment properties, that's where our team is we're paramount. That's what we do. And so we can help you strategize, analyze those numbers, and really help through that strategic due diligence in that collaborative front.
Well said.
Thanks, Kev. I just love the threads. I love that jersey.
I know. It's so beautiful.
It really is. It really is. I don't think I got really anything else on my plate. I think one of the things we talked about too, video to come shortly, is just more questions about not only just what the AOF real estate team can do for you, but just having a trusted agent on your side is a part of your team. We'll go through at a future time here, more of an FAQ style, but just, I think more and more as people learn about real estate, not only on their personal or primary need, but as an investment tool, like how do I find the right person who's going to help guide me through this process? So, I do think there's so much value in that sometimes we might gloss over a little bit just because we talk about the different stories and we're all busy helping buyers and sellers across the board. But for those that are kind of not sitting on the fence because they don't, waiting for interest rates, but they just don't know who to really trust. And that's something I think that we can help shine some light on and provide some kind of free education on as well. So that video will coming soon to the monthly update, or maybe a bi-weekly. Maybe we'll just squeeze something in here before the next update when all the snow's on the ground. But that I just think that I wanted to touch on that is kind of a driver that Drew's been really leaning into. So appreciate you highlighting that stuff, and we'll be excited to talk about it here in the near future.
All right, guys.
Cool. All right. Well, I know it's not Edmonton, but, I'll bring in Toronto here, but Jays are down 2-0. Couple tough losses at home here. Now they're going
baseball.
out to the Pac
Anything
West.
can happen.
Anything can happen. So
It's only the start. They'll do better.
It's best of 7. You're only in trouble. Well, I was going to say you're only in trouble till you lose at home, but I guess they've lost 2 at home. So, Luke, you can X that one from the old video. But okay. Well, I appreciate everyone joining in. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk again soon.
All right, bye guys.
Awesome.
It's simple as 1, 2, 3. to be. Simple as can be. Trust in us and you will see. We make real estate easy. So easy, believe me. We're here to serve, give you what you deserve. All under one roof, that's our proof. It's still the last one to me.